I'm such a serious person. And at one point in my life, I was called a fun hater. And I am so intrigued by Benjamin and what he's got to share with us today because he's taken this concept of play, which doesn't feel serious to me at all, and inserted it into events where serious people are attending, but he's able to use it in such a way that it opens people up and creates deep connections very quickly. I am totally and utterly fascinated. He uses Lego as the way and means to this transformation, and I can't wait for you to hear about it. Inquiring minds want to know, how are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question, and the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. Hey, it's Sarah. I have an invitation for you right now. You can join entrepreneurs from across the globe who share a passion for hosting their own events. Become part of the community that inspires and cheers you on over at greenroomcentral.com. Today, I brought Benjamin Warsinske, founder of Branded World, into Green Room Central Studios. He's a brand culture expert and certified Lego serious play facilitator. His focus is on how purposeful play contributes to effective people strategies, particularly in the areas of employee engagement, well-being, interpersonal relationships, high-performance leadership, and organizational culture change. He hosts virtual and in-person events, including networking, educational online masterclasses, and multi-day private client workshops that use Lego to spark creativity. Benjamin, welcome to Green Room Central Studios. Say hello to Lynchpin Nation.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Sarah. I'm excited to be here.
So I want you to tell us a little bit about the type of people that you attract to your events. You know, we've talked about how they're aficionados, if you will, of the role of like creativity and work and life. And I want to understand more about those types of people because until now, I'd probably have to admit that I wouldn't raise my own hand to like describe myself that way.
That's such a good question. It's so funny. It's not really the people that you would think that come to the events that I host. It's really professionals from all different walks of life. So I've had people from very technical skills like software developers, technologists, engineers, and then also like accountants and HR and really just like all professionals of all different levels kind of like seek out this opportunity to kind of spark their creativity and tap into their playfulness.
So it really runs the gamut, and we probably can't put them in any one box, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard, but I would kind of say like the professional like knowledge workers of any industry type, and then kind of maybe the small business, the entrepreneur, those types. If I were to kind of categorize.
Sure. Okay. So let's talk about those events that these people are coming for, and I want you to share about your Power Play Accelerator events, and then I'm especially curious about those Pause and Play events. Can you share those with Lynchpin Nation?
Yeah, so they all kind of stemmed back from prior to the pandemic when I was hosting events around Chicago, and it was called Bricks and Brands Conversations Through Play, and it was really kind of like an unconventional approach to networking. So the whole idea was you would come to this event, you would be given a kit of Lego, and you wouldn't share your title or your business or anything like that. It was more about the human connection through play. And so what really happened in those events was people really began to connect and get to know each other on a much deeper level, to the point where I had people raise their hands and stop me like 10 minutes in and say, this person across the table from me was a complete stranger, and now I feel like I've known them my entire life. And that's when I like really just was like, okay, there's something to this. And so from there, I've kind of expanded my offerings into the Power Play Accelerator, which is a monthly subscription service or online membership where I host different live events in my community that use facilitated play to bring people together and to learn about yourself and your leadership style and how you show up and how you communicate and also your creativity. Often what I've found in the events is that people don't feel creative or they don't think of themselves as creative. But when they go through these activities, their creativity just kind of pours out. And then they kind of realize, hey, I'm much more creative than I thought I was. And this is a great example of that.
That's so great that you're able to pull that side of people out at events through play. And now you are specifically using Legos. Tell me a little bit more about that, because you're like certified too.
It sounds so like I never imagined I would be certified. But I stumbled upon Lego Serious Play and the methodology through networking, and it basically has become my the way that I operate my business and how I bring people together and how I work with teams and leadership teams and executives. And it really is a way to really kind of like it's like the catalyst to spark and have difficult conversations or to try to innovate and hear different perspectives around a tough situation. And it really, what it does is it allows people to have an equal playing field and to kind of have their walls come down and be open to different perspectives, different ideas, and really kind of have their voice be heard as well. So it becomes like a co-creation process to where when we get to the end, everyone can agree on the way that the team wants to move forward. And they all have had a part in playing towards that idea so that they have some ownership in it. And it's a really fascinating like just approach to problem solving and to culture and connection and communication as a whole.
I specifically want to pause on that word connection a bit. So I think a lot of things that you just named are probably why your types of events foster connection, but talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so connection, I think like connection is so funny because we all kind of talk about connection and we know that connection is super important. But oftentimes in other kind of social situations or in networking or different types of events, the connections kind of are surface level or they feel more transactional. And I think what I like about Lego Serious Play and kind of this purposeful play is that it allows people to connect on a much deeper level. And in the same way, in working with teams, you can kind of have this surface level kind of connection and you understand your role and their role and how you work together and the job that you're trying to do, but you may not know the details below the surface, or maybe they haven't shared an interest or a way that they're creative with you, so you don't really understand all of their skill sets or what makes them kind of fully human. And so by putting yourself into this play environment, you can really start to understand who people are on a bigger scale.
I love that. It reminds me of when I was back in my corporate days and I was pretty closed off from my coworkers. But what I did notice on a day-to-day basis, but what I noticed is when we would go on these like, call them camping trips, if you will, when we would go on to our events as a team of people that were like, putting on the event, those coworkers, we just got to know each other so well because we were kind of like, we were together for so many hours of the day, so many days in a row, and you just like naturally like personal stuff comes up and you just, and you kind of let your guard down because perhaps you're tired or whatnot. And that's where I made the best relationships and formed the strongest ties and bonds. And you're saying that we can get there a whole lot faster with those who come to our events by injecting like this very I don't know I don't know what word to call your type of play. How do you describe the type of play that you offer at your events and then to companies who hire you?
Yeah, I call it kind of purposeful play or facilitated play, in that it's not it's structured, and there's an objective to it. So it's not just kind of freestyle play, which has its own value to it, but this is all about what is the problem that we're trying to solve, and then how can we create this psychologically safe environment to have everybody come together and be able to express their own opinions and ideas and thoughts in this safe space to problem solve and come up with a solution that we all agree with and how we can move forward. So in kind of the corporate setting, that's how I use it. In kind of a networking setting, it's more about how can we really connect with one another and feel like we've made some real friends, so that at the end of the evening, when we all go our separate ways, we may actually reach out to that person and be like, hey, like, how are you? Like, I want to know. I'm not just trying to say how are you to try to get some business like from you. I want to know how you are because of that model you built and how passionate you are about your kids or about that vacation you want to take or what that your dream house is. Like, how are those plans going? Things like that, like actually build the connection. And when we build that connection and that trust, then the relationship is much stronger for business opportunities or other opportunities to come about.
Oh, I absolutely love everything that you just said. So it's really like this purposeful, facilitated play is a strategic tool, and you're using it to form those connections that can be leveraged down the road in business. But we were talking a little bit about how it's also a strategic tool to pull out creativity in entrepreneurs. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to work with several entrepreneurs and some startups and some small businesses, and what I've noticed is in using play as a tool to help kind of set their strategy, find their vision, come together as a team, all these different facets of kind of brand building and building your company and your culture. The play really kind of brings out, like we said, their personality, and when you bring out your personality, your values start to show up. And so it's really amazing to see everybody's personal values, and then to have that conversation about, well, what are our company values? We say our company values are X, Y, and Z. Do we really align with that, or are we just kind of saying that because we want to try to reach or attract a certain type of client that we think is our ideal client? But really, we need to reevaluate and figure out how we can bring more of our personal values into that company, organization, and culture, so that we can really align and really feel like we're in alignment, and we're what we offer is really us.
I love that. I could see how this would be super useful for a small business entrepreneur to bring their team together on, let's say a quarterly or annual planning meeting and inject this type of purposeful play into their meeting agenda. Oh, I love that. I especially love how you said that our values show up when we play. Uh, I wonder why. I wonder it's just, it feels like more of a safe environment. And so we just naturally gravitate towards what means the most to us. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and I think it's really funny because I've had people kind of balk or like object to the session prior to even experiencing it, and kind of saying things like, oh well, like play, like how can this really work? Or and so then once they get into it, those same people that were like this won't possibly work, they're the same ones that are now championing it and saying like, wow, I never knew how creative I was, and like I really understand my team a lot better, and how we can use this as a communication tool and this aid to help us with different concepts and ideas. And it's really interesting to see, like, you can't hide from when you're in that state of play. Like if you're saying what you think people want to hear, you're gonna kind of get called out because when you're in that state of play, you just naturally are yourself, or you're going to be more yourself than not. And so that's it's going to kind of lend itself to really like show your true values.
Oh, so good. And I know we talked before that I probably would have been one of those naysayers back in the day, because I did have the unfortunate nickname of Fun Hater at one of my previous companies, and I think I'm recovered, or recovering. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about facilitation. And you're masterful, and I want to dig into a little bit about why that is and what tips you could give to other event leaders so that they could be a little bit better at facilitation.
Yeah, facilitating is something that I kind of fell into. In studying urban planning, we would bring together all of our stakeholders and facilitate these different design kind of workshops and visioning workshops. And we were trying to bring out these ideas and visions from our stakeholders. And often it was really hard without using a tool like Lego Serious Play. And so what I've learned over the years, and even in the online space, in live streams or podcasting or whatever the medium is, I think the biggest lesson is to make everyone feel involved and make everyone feel safe and calm. So if you can welcome people, if you can make sure to call on everyone, kind of make sure that everyone has an equal chance to chat or to share, that goes a long ways. When you can recognize others, when you can connect two people together, and say, hey, I think you guys would really hit it off. That alone can lead to so much and can increase their experience as well, because it will become much more memorable to be like, oh wow, I went to this event, I didn't know anybody there, all of a sudden I was welcomed, and then I got connected to this person and this person. It turns out we have so much in common. Now I have a call with them, and who knows where that could go. And I just feel so grateful for having taken the time to come to this event, because it is a big effort to show up, even to show up online or to show up in person. I think we took that for granted, and now we have so much available to show up to, that you really have to be purposeful and intentional about, if you're going to be hosting an event, really, how are you going to make sure that everybody can benefit from it and find value in it?
Hey, I don't want you to miss out. Did you know that this conversation always continues inside the Lynchpin Nation community? It's a free, modern discussion forum exclusively for Green Room Central listeners that will have a profound impact on the way you look at events in your business. Get answers to your biggest questions, hear behind-the-scenes nuggets from event leaders, and get access to helpful templates, guides, and checklists as you start and scale events in your business. Be part of the daily discussion with entrepreneurs just like you. You can join for free over at greenroomcentral.com. I'll see you inside. 100%. Couldn't agree more. I often really push event leaders to tell me why. Why are they hosting this for their business, and why are they hosting this for their community? Like, what is it about your thing that would make it so that it's desirable for me to have to do all the things that I have to do in order to show up at your thing live? It's a big deal to pause my real life and my business life and make space to show up to something live, whether that's virtual or in person. It's a big deal. And you really need to be clear on the why, and especially in your marketing, in order to get people in the room. But then once you're there, deliver, because they'll be your biggest cheerleaders on filling your next event. I want to take a little bit of a right turn here and talk about swag, my love for swag. And I don't have a love just for like the cheap throwaway stuff, but the stuff that makes a guest feel like they were just given like a really thoughtful gift that they'll use and they'll cherish. And you do just that because you create you curate these play kits. And so I want you to share with Linchpin Nation like what you send to your members and then how you use them during your events.
Yeah, and so I thank you. I love this part because I'm so big on the experience and the brand experience and how can we continue to level up and improve it. And so I'm always looking at how I can improve what I send to my participants, my members, and my clients. And so it was the pandemic that really forced me to have to kind of go this route probably earlier than I had anticipated. But it also was a great opportunity. So what I've learned is that in kind of the welcoming, like I use the kit as kind of a welcoming tool. It's materials that you'll use in the experience in the training or in the membership, and it's all kind of curated and personalized to the individual as much as I can make it, because I want everyone to feel again part of this experience, and I want them to kind of really love the materials. I don't want them to use it just once and then like give it to their kids or something. Like I want them to kind of understand that the kit is intended for as a tool, as a strategic tool to help you communicate, help you create ideas, help you spark your creativity. And so what I included in there is an explore pack of Lego. I also include a custom kind of minifigure that's it's complete random thing. So when you open it, it's like you don't know who you're going to get. I don't know who you're going to get, and then it's a fun activity of what are like who is this character and what are their values and do my values align with them, and like. What's really fun is that character often makes its way into all the different models throughout the experience, and it just adds to the kind of the creativity and kind of the fun of it. I also include a Lego piece separator, which is a lot of fun. A lot of people don't know what a Lego brick separator is, but oftentimes if you get your tiles and your plates and your bricks stuck together, it can be impossible to get them off. And so the Lego brick separator is the handy tool. And then I include some other fun things in there, and it's all tied back to my online community as well, so that we have a both a digital and a physical experience.
So you curate these kits and you send them to your guests, and then they get to open them before the event, and then you integrate them into the event itself, right?
Yeah, actually, I have them open the event or open the box as an unboxing as part of the event. So as we're getting into the swing of things, then we go through kind of a I call it skill building. So we get everyone kind of familiar with Lego building and what the parts and pieces are. That's where we'll unbox and see what's in the kit, and then we'll start to use certain pieces from the kit as we get into the experience.
That's so fun. Unboxing. So is there like a note on top that says like do not open until whatever?
Yeah. I try to keep it. I try to say, like this is for this particular event, and then within I have an instruction card and a QR code, and that allows them to log on onto the private community space and to use download the mobile app so they can start to have both the digital experience and the tangible experience with the Lego.
So good. Love the use of the QR codes in the kit. That's so fun. Thank you for sharing. I really want to encourage everyone to level up their game, their swag game, especially with virtual events. I think it's so important to have something like tangible, tactile, that it just like richens the experience in the virtual setting when like something from the host business is like in the home of or the office of the person who's attending. I think it's like table stakes in my opinion.
Yeah, and it really breaks up the experience as well. No one wants to come to an online event and just watch on screen kind of passively, but if you can engage and build and think with your hands and then share, now you're interacting and you're engaging and you're using both parts of your brain, and it just becomes this much more immersive, fun experience.
So good. Benjamin, before we wrap up today, I've got a bunch of rapid fire questions if you're game.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get into that. Okay, so I want to talk about, I want to hear what do you say to yourself like backstage and on stage? So, kind of your mindset.
With my mindset, like before I go into like a facilitation, I like to play um either one of my favorite songs, which has like absolutely no lyrics, but it just like pumps me up, and gets me into like this just fun state of mind. And then I just kind of like try to ground myself in center, and as I prepare to go out and begin.
And then once you're in front of a crowd, is there anything that you tell yourself to like keep the nerves down or keep your energy up?
It's so that's a good question. It's like usually like I think it's like you got this. And then it's also just like have fun. Like because I know when I show up and I'm having fun, that also creates more of a fun and calming and safe experience for others to open up. So I try to lead by example.
Love, love, love that. Share your best tip for filling events, getting registrants.
My best tip is continue to follow up. People are super busy, so you may send out 100 invites, and you may only hear from maybe half of them. Take the other half that you haven't heard from and just follow up, and don't follow up in a high pressure way. I like to check in and see how they're doing and see what they're up to, comment on that, and then also say, oh, hey, by the way, I'd love to see you here, or hey, like this person just signed on for this event. I'd love to have you come. I think you'd be, it'd be great for you to meet them. So continue to show the value of your event and why you think they should come. Making it personal is another really big thing that has helped, because it is all about people and humans at the end of the day, not necessarily the numbers.
See the humanity. Love
Yes.
that. Uh, what's your favorite event moment at the events that you host?
I think it's the when the light bulb goes off for people when they're kind of like reflecting individually and realizing like how I can like visually see their confidence like just boost. Oftentimes if they're very introverted or quiet, those are the people where their confidence just soars, as they kind of tell the story of the model and what it means and why they built it that way. And then they start to, maybe someone asks a question like, oh, I loved how you put this brick here, or why did you choose to place your minifigure in this pose? And then they just kind of start to share and they just like light up. And that's the most fun for me, is just seeing people light up and seeing the light bulb moments and kind of seeing their confidence boost.
It's so special. What's the best thing about hosting your events? Is it the light bulbs too?
Yeah, I would say just the fact that I get to share my passion and my love for Lego with others, and how Lego is not just a toy, it's really the strategic tool that we can use to solve problems and come together and really connect. And I think that's like what I love most about it.
Uh, I want to know, what are you reading right now?
I just finished reading Don't Feed the Elephants by Sarah Noel Wilson. And the book just came out on February 1st. I got an advanced copy. She was just on my podcast as well. I'm like a huge like super fan, but it's all about how to like avoid, like how to stop avoiding hard conversations, the elephant in the room, so to speak. And it has amazing information, and her story is incredible as well.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Uh, so I want you to tell Lynchpin Nation like what you've got going on and that they should know about and where they can find you, and especially share the name of your podcast too. That would be fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So the biggest thing I have going on is my community, the Bricks and Brands Network. You can find it at community.brandedworld.co, and join. I would love to see you there. Inside the community, I host a mixer twice a month called the Members Mixer. Fancy name. And then I also host a podcast called the Bricks and Brands Podcast. And really the whole idea is to bring today's leaders together to talk about how we envision the future of workplace culture and leadership and the brand experience as a whole.
So good. I'll link all of that up in the show notes, as well as that book that you just recommended. Benjamin, this has been such a treat to chat. I can't wait till the next time. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me. This was a blast.
Thank you for listening to the Green Room Central podcast. If you loved this episode, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram, and be sure to tag @SarahFafer and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me know what to create for you. Also, I know you've got one solid gold nugget of advice on filling your events from Benjamin today, but if you'd like a few more, 107 to be exact, then I want you to head over to fillingevents.com right now. I want to help you quickly master event marketing and fill your events, even if you've never done it before. I've scoured the online business world and found 107 of my favorite strategies working right now to fill your next virtual or in-person event. I want you to create the event promotion plan that you need from these easy to implement, customizable strategies. It's over at fillingevents.com. Now, in case you're curious, this podcast is built on Kajabi. I am loving how easy it's been to get things set up, but more so, I'm thrilled that my entire business is run within one platform. From my emails, to my pages, to my courses, and now to my podcast. It's all under one roof. If you love simplicity and scalability as much as I do, then go to greenroomcentral.com to get a free 14-day trial from Kajabi, who I am thrilled to say is a sponsor of this podcast. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and strategy of live events. Keep going. Keep learning. If you want more, I want you to head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.